On.
There we go. Now we're recording now.
Yeah.
Just so nice to see you. As I said before we hit record, did a nice podcast with a guy who just recently immigrated to Canada.
Yeah.
And he'd mentioned you and your name, and you're really nice and helpful, and
Yeah.
really appreciate that. And I'll just send Jodi a message, just say, you know what, this is the kind of stuff that's being said when you're not around. So there you go.
Yeah,
You're
making a
improving
difference,
people's
right?
lives.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's exactly why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Don't get good big money for it, but boy, it's
I know.
rewarding because you've changed someone's life, whether they're like 18 years old all the way to like in their 60s who've faced a lot of bad things, right?
And the crazy thing is we talk so much about mental health in our industry, and a lot of it is as simple as people are lacking the purpose and a job and just a steady income
a
where they don't
friend.
have to worry about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
so basically be a belonging.
Yeah, yeah.
And a simple job, whether it's this community or another one, can provide a lot. It's not, a wholesale silver bullet to all the problems in our industry, but it goes a long way, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
For sure.
So tell us about anyone who's never met you before. Tell us what's the quick and dirty of Jodi.
In what way do you want to what do you want to know?
Let's focus on the quick first,
Yeah.
maybe.
I think if we're talking work-wise, I just think that I'm always super helpful. I like transparency with people. I'm pretty direct.
Okay.
Some people don't know how to take that, but I always find it's an easy strategy for me to get to know the person and the individual I'm working with really fast. So, I break down their walls and just have a conversation with them and see if I can identify what's going on. And then from there, I decide how I'm going to help them. Because, I have people who, I've had people on parole. To face different things, and they need help. They're like crying out for help. They have nobody, no support.
Yeah.
So I kind of come in and do my work and then see how I can help them. And then I would say like 90% of the time there's success with it. So that's it's really gratifying, and just seeing them smile and being able to start their lives over, really.
How do you navigate some of the challenges with recruiters in particular? Because some people speak so highly of you. Like I said, literally Tony was talking to me yesterday about you, and the other people, random comments on LinkedIn and social media about how they do get approached and then they're ghosted and they don't hear back and all this kind of stuff. How do you navigate some of those challenges?
Yeah, for sure. So I find it's tough with the recruiters because there's kind of a wall sometimes. Even when people are applying for jobs, you're trying to get in, I'm like, we'll try to go direct to the recruiter, try to, get a hold of them. There's different strategies. I teach them on LinkedIn and stuff.
Yeah.
And even at that, you still hit a wall. There's kind of sometimes no way in.
Yeah.
I'm always like, just try. You know what? Everybody usually is like willing to talk to you.
For sure.
Everybody starts somewhere, right?
Oh,
so
for
you're
sure.
going to get no or you're going to get yes. And if you get that yes, it's that great chance that you took to finally just do it. Just be like, hey, I just want to have a conversation. Where did you begin? Or here I am. Can you take a look at what I have to offer? Because there's a fit for everybody out there, right?
Oh my God, for sure. Most of what we do in the industry I'm in anyway, it's they're teachable skill sets and based on experience and just being put in the right place in the right time and have people support you. And I don't want to say it's not rocket science. There's a huge technical component to what we do as an industry, but like I said, I like to think most of it's teachable.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is, if they want it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll get people who, they're subdued and they're a little cautious and scared. So I always say it's that 2-week interval where I can really discover them. And then I decide, because sometimes they're just gone or they're not in a good place. And then I got to reel them back in and be like, hey, you know what? We're here to support you. How can I support you? What does that look like? And sometimes you have to get personal. Well, often you do. And you have to just share what, stuff about yourself in order to get that guard down. And then they're more than willing usually. And then they want to be your friend.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
But even for what you're doing, I would say when you're placing people, there's a lot of people who do it for a living. And I think people feel, so I don't even know you, Jodi, but like I feel like you're one of my people.
Yeah.
It's you could say all the right things, have all the right lines, and try to get people going, but people feel that sincerity and genuine. So if you're trying to help people, people pick up on that regardless of what you're saying.
Totally
I would
agree
say.
with you. Yeah, yeah. It's a vibe you put out, right?
Yeah.
And if you're open up about yourself or anything that you faced, it puts that other person's guard down. And then
For
they're
sure.
like, hey, you know what? This person is okay. I'm going to tell them more.
Yeah. How did you get into it?
How did I get into it? My journey began I was actually taking care of my mom down in Calgary, and I decided to go back to school because I wanted to kind of do the HR thing.
Yeah.
And then I really liked to learn about conflict resolution just because of things I faced in my life.
Sure.
So I took a few courses, went to university, helped take care of my mom on the side, helped my dad down there because she was really sick. And then from there, I relocated out of Rocky Mountain House into Red Deer. And then I'm like, how the heck am I going to network out here? I don't know anybody. So, you know, you start getting your feet under you and doing that and learning. And I joined curling and a few different things, joined the gym, went to Orange Theory for a while, started getting to know people. And then from there, I just, it opened up. And then I went to a program called Career Leap when it first started, which the one that I'm working.
Okay.
And it was in person back then. And so I went in, and within a week I was in, they scooped me up. They said, you want to come work for us? We're starting up another thing we're launching. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Cool. So I started a few months later, and I've been there since. And I just worked my way up.
What do you find the most rewarding about being able to help people besides the obvious stuff?
The most rewarding? Oh, geez. That they have something new to go to. I think just seeing that joy and the tears that are shed in my office from that day to the tears that are shed when they get the job, and know that there's hope and that they've actually conquered that, that's huge. Right? It's nothing like it, you know, as a person, that person-to-person feeling. You're just like, I made a difference. That's all that matters.
Actually made a difference, not in their life, even their family's life.
100%, yeah, in so many ways.
If there was one bit of advice that you find that people you don't really take, but they probably need to in general, what would that be?
Advice?
Yeah.
I usually actually have to say that. I have to say to them, like, you know, I know you're not going to want to talk about this, but there's ways you do it. I guess it depends on the scenario, but you have to sometimes do that just to persuade them to talk about things, to get them to get where they need to be.
Yeah. Well, there's some obvious, I don't want to call them red flags, but you know, when people are struggling sometimes, you've been at it a while, so you could probably pick up on it right away. It's like, oh yeah, this is probably why
you bet.
People are putting up their guards when you're around or applying, or your resume or interviews or whatever. How do you broach some of those conversations very delicately and sensitively?
So first off, I usually can detect it.
Yeah.
And then I'll have my team do separate meetings. I'll divide up. I just have a little bit of a strategy. Sometimes I'll go in alone. Sometimes I'll have two in. And sometimes I'll do the whole group. And then we'll have a little debrief after, and I'm like, what do you guys think? What do you see? What do you identify? And then I just take all of their input, because they're all pretty good, and we all have a different age range that we work together with. So I feel like their expertise and mine, and then we just go together and we decide. We decide what we want to do, and we just go with that.
And successfully, I assume.
Definitely. Yeah.
Like everyone's so different and everyone communicates differently. I'm sure it does prove challenging, I'm sure, but you probably have a great
when
team
you can't
around
help someone
Yeah.
and you know that they haven't fulfilled their timeline with us,
Yeah.
that's not easy to take, because you're like, geez, what else could I have done differently?
Yeah.
Right? Because you want to make that change.
But the reality is, like right now, we are in I can only speak to the large diameter pipeline construction area. I know there's a lot of other stuff going on, residential and commercial. Construction's going busy. There's some drilling going on right now. But as far as where I am, it isn't very busy. So a lot of pipeliners want to stay in that industry. Like, how do you, you're helping them find a job, obviously, but how do you help them say, hey guys, it's not just you? Like, how do you take away that personal component? It's not a reflection on you, it's a slow industry. How do you navigate some of those conversations?
We definitely have guys who've come in, like you can imagine, from the time that COVID began to now, and okay, healthcare, okay, we're out. Boom, we're done. We absolutely are leaving. What can we do with our skill set? So we have to identify where we can take the skills that they have. Same goes for guys who, if it's not busy, like I'm out, or even, if they're doing hitches in and they're like, this isn't working for me, and they identify, they're like, I want to be with my family. After all this said and done, like, I don't think I want this job anymore. I've missed so much, right? So I've had taken lots of people and decided how I can take what the skills they have and put them into a different industry. And they don't even see it at times. And you know how it is, it's hard to talk about yourself. Well, same thing goes for them. They're like, well, how the heck am I going to do this? I'm so used to this. I've been doing this for 20 years. This is all I know. I'm so scared. And you're like, you've got this. Just that encouraging everybody over and over again.
But we all identify ourselves so strongly with what we do for a living, so to try to all of a sudden be in a different industry, it would be tough, I'm sure.
Super scary, right? Starting at the bottom, and then saying, you know what, it's okay to start at the bottom again and work your way up, and then they're just like, really? Like, it doesn't feel good, especially when they come in to me sometimes. They're like, well, I want to make this much money and I want to work at this company. I'm like, well, that's nice, but that's not going to happen here. I'm like, you have to bring them down a little bit to say, do you want shelter? Do you want food on the table? Kind of things like that. And I kind of have to bring them down. And then you share. You do that personal sharing of, like, taking any component of what you've been through, or little stories, snippets, just to share with people. It's super helpful, right?
Yeah. One conversation that comes up a lot with me lately is those guys in their 50s, you know, where all of a sudden they haven't been working. They're in that very delicate area where they're have like a relatively higher income based on their past few years of work. And in terms of even leadership, they've been put in those positions. Now all of a sudden they're not there. They're really feeling vulnerable about how do you know, they can take a bit of a cut in rate, but it's hard. You know, at some point their life is set up for a certain thing with their family, and how do you coach people to say, again, like, the world has changed, like, the industry, like, everything's so different. Like, how do you manage those conversations delicately where
You just do.
Yeah.
You just do. You can identify the person and you learn them a little bit. And I think to express that, you know, if you take this job, I know it's not going to be this much money like you were used to, but this job will create a sustainability for you, like on a constant. You're going to be making, you know, it's not going to be the feast or famine. I always remember you saying that in the pipeline, like, oh my goodness, we have so much, and how are we going to get by with this much? It was scary times, right?
Sure.
You loved it, but you have to be able to manage that money.
Yeah.
And the sacrifice, like you always speak of, like the sacrifice is huge when you're away from your family, you know, and can your family handle that? What are you missing out on? All those things. So, yeah, it's definitely a delicate topic, but there's ways to do it, right?
try to navigate it very gently,
Yeah.
I know I've always worked pipeline my whole life, but I'm doing something I started this winter I've never done before, which is rotation work. So we're doing a pipeline up north, and, you know, 2 weeks on, 1 week off. And, man, I know it's not for everyone, but I am, like, loving it. To see Sweet Marie and the kids once a week, to see
So
my
nice.
friends, make appointments. I know it's not for everyone, but it's definitely for me, and it's opened my eyes. So there's, again, something unplanned I didn't know about, but all of a sudden found my lap, and I'm like, this is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is good, right? A whole different perspective on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So where did you grow up?
Where did I grow up? I've lived a few places. My dad used to work for the Safeway company, so we got transferred around a lot. So I lived in Thunder Bay, Ontario. I lived in Calgary. I lived at Medicine Hat.
Yeah.
I lived in St. Albert. That was probably the longest stint was in St. Albert that we lived, so I graduated out of St. Albert.
Yeah.
And then from there I got married and I lived out in Callahoo for a little bit.
Oh, awesome.
And after that I moved out to Rocky Mountain House for business opportunities and raised my family there mostly. And then I relocated to Red Deer.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So did you often eat Persians when you lived in Thunder Bay?
No.
No? Okay, just checking.
No,
Just checking.
but I always marveled at the bags of milk there and how they had the margarine, because the margarine was the natural color, right? They didn't have any additives in it.
Yeah, you had that color, yeah.
Yep.
I went back to Thunder Bay. My sister was there, I'm going to say, a few months ago, and she took some pictures of our old houses, and it's so funny, and an old camp and all this kind of stuff, and it's all, worn out, and the houses are smaller, and
Right.
yeah, I saw this funny meme, I'm going to say 5 years ago, someone sent it to me. It's like, hey, welcome to Thunder Bay, set your watches back 25 years. And I'm like, shoot, yes.
Remember Port Arthur, Fort William side?
Oh, of course,
Yeah, right? So, because I used to figure skate out there, so we'd always have to drive to the other side of town, right?
So we lived on the Port Arthur side, kitty corner to the General Hospital.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So yeah, I have really great memories. And funny, I heard you say camp. They didn't call it the cottage. They didn't call it the lake.
Yeah,
they called it
it's
camp
such a
out there.
camp thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what they call it out here. I moved out west here, and they started to call it the cabin. That was a different word I'd never heard before. But our camp was like an actual camp, so it was just different type of feel. My grandfather, I think it was 480 acres, about an hour out of town in the bush. He was going to build a Bible camp and host that, so he would have been in his late 40s at the time, and I think he died about a year later, so the camp itself got developed, so it became a family thing, but again, it never ended up manifesting into the Bible camp thing, but yeah, that was our childhood.
Good intentions.
That was our childhood,
Yeah.
So you grew up where is home now? I know you live in Red Deer, right? Does it feel like home? How long have you been there?
I have been there 7 years now.
Okay.
You know, kind of went there to raise the kids, be kind of central Alberta.
Yeah.
So my career has been there mostly. Do I want to stay there? I don't know. I still don't know what I want to do. So, I mean, any opportunities, you know, you never know, right?
As long as you're being open to it, I think that's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I talked to a young lady yesterday, Kat, and she moved down to Mexico just to try something different because she was so a little bit disheartened with the current political and social climate here in Canada. So she just literally wanted to try something different. And I admire people because not a lot of people have courage enough to even move,
Yeah.
let alone try different countries.
If I didn't have my
Yeah.
4 kids and my grandbaby right now, then I would probably jump ship and try to. But I'm going to wait it out a little bit just to get to know him because he's only 4 months old. So
Kids are the worst, right? I know.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
they keep coming back.
You know what? When people ask me about myself, it's one of the first things I always say, I'm a dad.
Yeah.
I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So where have you traveled to in your life? You've traveled abroad, I assume?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah. The odd vacation, Dominican, Jamaica, Mexico quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, been to New York a couple times.
Yeah.
Haven't really I'd love to do Europe yet, so I have a few places on the bucket list yet.
Can you ever envision yourself wintering somewhere else, like the snowbirds?
I was actually just having that conversation last night, and the thing about that is I think I would get bored in one location. So, you buy a place, and then you're like, but what if I get bored? Maybe I would Airbnb a couple months at a time or something. Yeah, it all depends, right? Got to see what you like.
Yeah. Nice to be around the kids. How close are the kids to you?
Close. Yeah.
Awesome.
Like location-wise?
Location-wise, yeah.
They're all within the area. Yeah,
Oh,
from
my
Sylvan
God.
Lake to Blackfalds they're all in central Alberta.
Like, that is such a gift.
Yeah, it really is.
So we're navigating the whole empty nester program right now, and I don't like it. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I dropped off I think our middle kid out in Victoria last September to go to school, and I remember giving him a hug when we were dropping off resident. I was like, fuck, I'm going to start crying.
Oh, yeah, I cried for
It
sure.
really bothered me.
Yeah. 2 of them went to school
Yeah.
out in Vancouver area. They were gone a year, and then one was in Calgary a bit. And saying that goodbye, but it's not goodbye. It's like, here you go.
I know,
Here's the
but-
tools. Hopefully you do well. Please stay in school. Please finish up the program, right? Yeah.
Well, all you can do is do your best. I think our influence over kids, I don't think it ever disappears, but it definitely diminishes over time, for sure.
Yeah. I have one I'm still trying to get out of the door, trying to kick her out in a nice way, but, supportive wise, right?
Yeah.
So she's taking a little bit longer. She's like, I'm not ready to go to school yet. I don't know what I want to do. So it's finally coming to fruition. So that's great.
Yeah, and nice to have them around, but you want to see them find their own way into the world as well, same as we did, I suppose.
course.
Yeah.
You bet.
So if you didn't find your way into this industry and what you're doing now, what would you be doing otherwise?
Geez, you know what? That is a really good question because I don't know. I don't know what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked in I've dabbled in lots of different things, so don't know. But here I am now, and
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying what I do. So, I'm just going to go with it. Could open up other doors of opportunity as well.
Yeah. Where do you find that you have a natural tendency to want to help people? Where did that come from?
Probably having, big family.
Yeah.
It's just in me. I'm just born that way kind of thing. And then I just identified that I'm good with people, and they're really receptive of me, and I can bring them in easily, and I love to communicate clearly, and that's usually a good tool, right?
Not
to have.
enough of that, I don't think, for sure.
That's why I'm always like, could you just pick the phone up? Stop texting. Because, it gets misconstrued so fast, right?
I know, I talked to a lot of people about that too, about they're nervous to call, and I'm like, when the hell did that happen?
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know when that happened. And I've heard other people say, well, I like to have a written document of either a conversation or something. I'm like, oh, well, how about do the call and then follow it up with the email?
Yeah.
And then you still get a bit of both or whatever.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually say that to my clients. I'm like, what do you like? Do you like to text? Are you comfortable with that? Because I offer that because of the different age ranges, right?
For sure.
And then they're like, actually, I'd rather talk on the phone. I hate texting.
Oh, yeah.
So, and some I encourage to try to do it more. It just depends. I look for their technical skills, too, to see what they have. Because I'm like, well, if they need that, I better help them now because that's going to help for that success of wherever they end up, right?
Yeah. Is there a difference in your challenges between helping people find work in a slow market or a really busy market? Because I think they would both have similar challenges.
The admin is really tough right now. If we want to speak exactly what's going right now, the process for it is the recruiting is many stages of it. They'll have the phone call, they'll have the video one, and then they'll have an in-person if they get that far, right? And it's just really competitive. So basically what I do is I do a lot of putting relevancy and upskilling a lot of people and making sure that stands out because they don't get a chance otherwise.
I like that.
So you have to do some strategic marketing in order to get that person to be seen because they're lost. They're like, I've applied to everywhere. Even though they're super qualified, they're not standing out. So they feel like they're hitting their head against the wall all the time.
Is that they're not standing out on the resume or not standing out in the interview process?
Setting up for their resume, getting
Oh, their
picked
resume,
for
okay.
the interview, like prior to that. So, we just kind of like we tell them how to do that, how to be seen, to stand out. Because a lot of them don't know how. They have no idea what to do. And they, if you've been in a job for 15 years, they're like, what do I do? How do I do this now? Everything's online. I can't go in to knock on someone's door like we used to be able to, right? You knock on the door and you go in and you're like, hey, I'm so-and-so. Well, awesome. Come on to my office. Let's have a talk. And then you could get hired that way. That doesn't happen as much anymore.
Nah, man, those days are over.
Oh, it's sad for people though, right?
Well, I would say even where I am, we're getting shit every now and again for emailing resumes around, and we get told by the HR groups, knock it off. We have
They have a policy.
we have a process, like a portal that we use, because it's not just for your project, it's for multiple projects. So if we put the resume in one spot, then we can all access and all look at it. Another challenge I hear a lot lately from people is related to their concern, and it's anecdotal because they don't actually know, is a human being looking at my resume? And I was like, I don't know. I only learned about this ATS stuff recently, and is it getting kicked out before it looked at? I don't know.
So the ATS will kick your resume out if you don't have the words that are on the job ad.
Okay.
Right? So then they're like, what do you mean? Well, I didn't know that. So now then they want to go in and restructure it and put all the keywords in. So then it's actually reading it. And it's like, oh, wow, I actually got a call back. So something so small, but who's to educate them about that? How would one know? You go on Indeed, you go on over and over, you go down that
It doesn't
dark
show
hole.
up anywhere in those kind of things, unless someone like you tells us.
Yeah.
How do you get people to the interview? Because I've heard so many people say their resume is a piece of paper, but they don't feel it stands them out because they all look the same. So this is people telling me they're job hunters, and even they're saying, well, how the hell this looks? Yeah, we're all detail oriented. I get it. You know what I'm saying? So how do you get people to that interview process? Because it's not as simple as picking the resume off the pile. Like, is there something that people can do that might help get them through?
I wanted to kind of, you said detail oriented. I laugh because inside I always say, just take that off. I mean, it's like you're saying you're punctual. I'm like, that's garbage. I said, take that off because you literally have to prove both of those things. And if you're applying for a certain position, that's already in expectations. So why even put those words on there? Right?
I still
you don't
see
need to
it
do
a lot.
that.
And half the time it's BS. I'm not sure these people are detail oriented.
I hear you. I get it. Yes, that's true. You see the results, right?
Yeah. Outside of applying for a QC or a quality role, which you better be detail oriented to work in that industry.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there a type of, what do you think about people using LinkedIn more? Because I'm still trying to encourage pipeliners who a lot still don't rely on resumes as much. It's still very much name hire type industry still. Is there value in developing resumes, LinkedIn, that kind of stuff for the average pipeliner?
I think so. Definitely. Why not? You got nothing to lose. If you open that up and you connect with everybody else in the pipeline who's in there, you're being seen. So why not have someone be able to see that and be like, oh, he's on there. That's great. It could be the smallest profile. You don't have to build it up and big, but just having that foundation down, got a nice picture of yourself, you got your resume uploaded, a few things about yourself, maybe make a little pitch on there. We're looking for work, not looking for work. All of those small things matter, and it's a good business networking profile, of yourself, that platform itself. I like it. I teach it. Some people I'm like, you don't need it. Some people I'm like, you absolutely need it for where you're going. And then you teach them how to build it. People are usually scared because they're like, I don't know how to navigate it. I'm like, don't be scared. Just start here and keep working at it,
For people's like LinkedIn, whether it's their profile itself or their general etiquette in terms of comments and posts, where do you think people could improve? Where do you, every now and again, people do a bad post, and you're like, ooh, or put a very poorly worded comment, and you're like, oh my God. What are some of the bad things that you think people should be avoiding?
Think before you say and think before you write, you know. It's not hard. It's not rocket science to me. I mean, I stumble upon that because you see that, you're just like, whoa, why were they doing that? What were they thinking? So they're not thinking. People respond quickly. And the keyboard warrior saying, right? They're right away there, they want to pounce, or there's people who want to fight like that. You're going to get that everywhere. Some people have the class, some people don't, right?
Yeah, it's an emotional time, especially if you're not working and you're...
Oh, that fuels it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you think politics belongs on LinkedIn? Because I see a lot more of that lately.
Yeah. Tread lightly with it, I would say. It depends where you want to dive down to, right?
Yeah.
What's your purpose on LinkedIn? leave it at that purpose. If you're going on for political reasons, it's probably not a good idea. I mean, stay center point. That's how I would navigate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we've all been guilty of saying something. Oh, yeah, just look for the comment.
Foot in mouth.
real quick.
Oops.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. If you had to give anyone words of encouragement right now who is still looking and God Almighty has not found a job yet, what helped them? Words of encouragement, advice, anything. Is it as simple as phone yourself or phone a recruiter, or should they be spending their time doing some training or spending time with their families? Like, help people right now, because a lot of people out there are still hurting.
Don't look for a job every single day. Take a break. Be kind to yourself.
I like that.
Some people are like so adamant, they sit there and then they get themselves into dither and they get themselves sick. Like, take a day off. Take a couple days off. Be kind to yourself. Go out to the mountains. Go do something. Take a break. Right. Take a walk. Because some people will they get too much into themselves and then they beat themselves up.
I like that.
So I think that just remain being kind to yourself. And I always say, I know you don't feel like it, but there's a job out there for everybody. And that's kind of I reinforce that and say that, and they're just like, really? I'm like, there really is. I said, I don't know how to tell you this, but probably the 12-week mark, when they're just about embarking the finishing of my program, lo and behold, most of them will get 3 job offers.
Awesome.
And then they're just like, what? And I'm like, oh, is this a bad thing? I said, see, it's working for you.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, wow.
Trust the process, eh?
Trust the process.
I like
People
that.
are resistant of it, but if you let it in, I'm always like, okay, 50% you, 50% me. If I don't see 50% of that help, what am I going to do then, right? So I'm not going to meet you in the middle. If you come in and you're bold and you want it, you're going to get the results you need. Because then we're like, wow, look at this guy, look at this girl. Wow, they're awesome. Like, let's give them the help because they have that. And they come in happy, and you're like, but they can have some bad days too.
For sure.
Yeah, so. Yeah.
Anything else you want to share before we part ways today?
I do not. Thanks for having me.
No, I appreciate you, Jodi. Keep doing what you're doing and
Yeah.
keep helping people, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk soon.
Thank you.